Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leanne and I'm the face behind Small Gestures Vintage and Crafts. It has been a couple of weeks and it has been a little crazy the last couple of weeks. It is really good to be back. Today's video is going to be just a little bit different. I have some projects for you at the end, but I also have some things I want to share with you. So a couple of weeks ago, our daughter flew out from Arizona as a surprise. I knew about it. My husband did not. He was beyond excited. When he walked in the living room and saw his baby girl sitting there, oh my gosh. I have never seen him that excited. So we had a great week. She, of course, loves, I don't know where she gets it from. She loves thrifting and estate sales and yard sales. And so of course I can't be like, no, Caitlin, we're not going to do that. I'm like, let's go. So we found lots, she found a lot of stuff too that she took back to Arizona, but I found some really cool things that I wanted to share with you guys. So we're gonna do that really quick. And then, like I said, I've got a couple of quick flips and some other things that I just upcycled a little bit that I got at some auctions. So we're gonna do that towards the end. So if you are ready, stick around and let's do it. Okay guys, first up, one of our first stops was an estate sale that had, my daughter was super excited because it had over 2,000 vinyls. And she is all about vinyls. So she was looking through those and I was looking through books. They had a room of books and I found these three volumes, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, 8, 9, and 10 junior classics. Look at those colors. These are from 1918, I believe. And I thought these are gonna be gorgeous in my booth. I love them. But then I was also like, I don't know if I want them. I don't know if I should get them. You know, that voice in your head. And so I was debating about them, if I should get them. Walked into the room that she was at, and in a box, they had number 7, 6, 5. Ooh. I need bigger arms. 3, 2, and 1. I know you're here somewhere. 1. So like in 3 minutes, I've gone from, I don't know if I want them, to where is number 4? Why can I not find volume 4? So the quest is on for volume 4. So this was my first deal. I got them for $5 each. I don't know if that's a deal or not, but look at those colors. I love them. They're gonna be beautiful in my new booth because I'm opening a new booth at the end of next month. So I think they're gonna be gorgeous. So that was haul number 1. Okay, so the next sale we went to, it was on the second day. So everything was 25% off. So, and this isn't everything that I got, but I got some nice wooden frames. I got 3 of these, and these were all like, I think $5 each, and then the 25% off. So I got some nice big wooden frames and this cool, look at this vintage antique, actually, strainer. I think it's a strainer. Look at that. Check that out. To sit on a pot lid. I thought this was super cool. So I picked that up. And then I actually got 4 of these sweet little angels. These were only like 75 cents each. I thought those would be really pretty painted, and then I would love to put some milk paint on them and get them all looking aged. I thought those were really, really cute. So I got 4 of those. And then how sweet is this? A little brass, what do you call this with the handle? A little, I don't want to say a tray. What is it? I know there's a word for it, but look, it's got the lion head on it. Isn't that cool? So I got that. A great bushel basket for $2. There was actually 3 of these. The bottoms were blown out on the other ones. This one was intact. I love it. So I took this one. I got a bunch of reclaimed wood also. And this. When I asked the girl in the barn, I'm like, how much for the box over there? And she said, you want the box? And I said, yes, I want the box. And this is the box. Look at that gorgeous wooden box. It's got the metal. Probably can see that up here. Look, it's got the metal on the corners. I cannot wait to get this thing washed up. I wiped off just this end and look at that green color. Is that gorgeous? I cannot wait to get this baby cleaned up. I absolutely love this. This I think was $6 or $7 that I paid for it. So that was haul number 2. Okay, another sale that we hit. I thought this was a perfect, it's a, not a cheese box, but it was a bourbon cake that came inside of it. But I love the size of it, how it's much shorter than the typical ones and it's not quite as big. So I love the size and everything that I got fit inside. So these little cute porcelain chicken and rooster salt and pepper shakers. Those of you that are my generation, tell me you did not have. Tell me your parents did not have these coasters. So when I saw them, yes, I had to get the set. It was $5 for the set, but I think those are just awesome. That brings back memories. And then look at these cuties, these little baby shoes. Look. I think these were $5, but these are my favorite. I saw these and I saw people doing this last Christmas, like the little bronzed shoes, putting bottle brush trees in them. Aren't those gonna be so cute? These were $2 for the pair. $2 for these little guys. How cute are they? And then of course, the bourbon barrel cake box. Okay, this was sitting on the ground, so I forgot it. But in the estate sale where I got the big wooden box, I also got this. Like a cast iron key holder. Somebody probably used it in their garden. I don't know, hang tools from. It is beautiful, chippy, rusty. But I have a question. Okay, so the hangers, the hooks on the back, it would be hung like this. But don't keys, like, don't you see them usually like this? I don't know. Does it matter? But look at that color green. Oh, it's so pretty. And it's cast iron and it's chippy and I love it. This I paid up for. This was $30 and it was the 25% off. But I just love it. So this I got at that other estate sale. Then we also hit some Goodwills. I have found 2 favorite Goodwills. Unfortunately, they are not the one that is closest to me, but that's okay. So we hit a couple of Goodwills and I scored some really great things from Goodwill too. So first of all, these cutie little like rattan pumpkins, the big one was $3. Yeah, this one was $3. These are like in perfect condition. And I think each of these were $2. And then a Kirkland's pedestal bowl. This was $3. And an embossed aluminum tray. This one was $2. I have heard, tell me if you have tried this, that if you take a bottle brush tree and you put it in warm water or hot water, it causes the bristles to like pop back up. And I'm hoping that's the case because I found this guy, he's big, for $2, but you can see we're kind of smushed on one side and we're a little wonky. So I think I'm gonna try that with this guy for $2. I can't pass up a bottle brush tree. So we're gonna try that. And then I also found 2 of these. Now it was originally like this, full of the old potpourri, and it was dirty and dusty. These were $3 each. I got 2 of them, so I went ahead and cleaned this one up. I just love these. I think these are really cool. So I got these for $3 each. And then, one moment please. I have never seen a cloche this big at a Goodwill. So I had to get it. It was $3. These suckers are heavy. So I had to get this big guy. And then this, I think, is my favorite find. It had a nice, yucky, waxy coating on it, and it looked a bit green. It was heavy for what it was. So I'm gonna insert a little video clip. So I started cleaning that tray plate charger with some 4/0 steel wool and some Dawn dish soap, and got it clean and discovered the maker's mark on the back. Yuri pewter is from Finland, and it dates back, from what I have found, I may be wrong. If I am, please let me know. But it dates back to the 19th century. So this probably is my greatest Goodwill find ever. This is staying with me because I love the simplicity of it. I love how you can see the variations where it was hammered, and you can just feel, you know, the craftsmanship. I just love this. So it's simple, but it's awesome. So that, some of my Goodwill finds. Okay, so the last haul that I want to show you is not from when Caitlin was here. Admittedly, this is probably about a couple of months ago. We went to a local auction, and it was all about the brass at this auction. I had this guy. And look, first up, look at this sewing box. Is this, I love the color. Yes, please. I just love that. And I fell in love with most of this stuff. I don't know if it's because I've lived basically my whole life out in Arizona. You know, the Wild West, the whole cowboys and Indians, growing up with that, and the Spanish and the Aztec, just the history. And I don't know if that's why I kept going for all of this stuff. It doesn't matter, but I ended up with all of this gorgeous stuff. So to start off, I have a pair of antique brass conquistador stirrups. Look at those. Aren't those gorgeous? They are just absolutely gorgeous. Love them. I had to get these guys. Absolutely love them. And then I have 2 different sets of metal stirrups. I love those as well. And then I picked up, look at the old cowboys. Can you imagine like a whole herd of these guys walking across the pasture? Like, I just love these. Love these! So I had those. And then, oh, I think these are kind of my favorite. Look at these. Look at the spurs. God, I could not think of the name. Look, those old, rusty, crusty, like, you don't get better than that with rusty, crusty. Look at that. Those are gorgeous. So I went a little crazy. I think that's why. I mean, this is stuff I grew up with, you know, the Wild West. So it's just, gorgeous. And then, of course, the carrier for all that, this beautiful brass, I don't know, would you call it an ash bucket? I'm not exactly sure. I don't care. It's gorgeous and it's going in my booth, or I don't know, I might keep it. So that is my haul, my items. Thank you for hanging out with me and for watching. Now we will get on to a couple of other auction items that I just cleaned up and waxed, and a couple flips. And then, yeah, so stick around, and we've already done half of it, so let's finish it up. Okay, as promised, we are on to a couple of quick projects. The very first one, you know how I love metal boxes, and this one I got off of Whatnot from my friend Sylvia at Backyard Brushes, and I loved the green color, especially with the fall, and I just thought it would be a perfect backdrop to some of the Lost Garden transfers. I did give this a good cleaning, and it got a couple of coats of a Rust-Oleum rust protectant just to seal any of those yummy rust spots in. And you see that I only tore off like half of the transfer, because when this transfer goes down, it's going to be stuck. Sometimes on some surfaces you can lift them back up because the transfers do have a little bit of stickiness to them. But when you are dealing with a surface like this, or glass, or a shiny metal or something like that, once they go down, they are pretty well stuck. So I like to just pull the back off as I go, and then you see that I'm just working my way around, making sure that I'm making good contact around the corners and any little variances in the metal. So I finished it off with a light scuff sanding of the transfers, and then topped it off with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum 2X in the clear matte finish to protect those transfers. Project number 2 is a super simple flip. I picked up this antique handmade box at, it was an online auction, and I paid $20 for it. I just fell in love with it, and it was so grimy and grungy. I just had to take it out and just scrub it with some Dawn dish soap and some hot water, give it a good rub down. It was so filthy, and I had to glue back some of the corners. They were starting to come apart, and all I am doing is just taking some of the Vans furniture wax. This just shows you that if you have something that it just looks dry and dull and lifeless, all it needs is a good drink, just a good wax, and look at the difference that it just takes on. And this is a good size box. It is like 24 inches wide. I think it's 24 by 12 by 6. And I knew I was going to keep this one. I'm not going to use it to store anything inside. Or if I do, it's not going to be opened and closed, because one of the old rusty hinges is starting to split. So I don't want to use it any more than I need to. But look at that. This is sitting on a table in my living room, and it's just stunning in my eyes. I absolutely love it. For my third and final project this week, I picked up this box when I had that great little Goodwill haul, and this is actually like a Harry and David box. It probably had sausages or cheeses or something in it, but I thought it would be really cute to make over, and I wanted to use the Trimmings 4 mold. over that inset area right there. So I washed it really well, and then I gave it 2 coats of shellac. I was going to leave the inside plain, that would, but then you can see there's that little section that wasn't stained, and I wasn't about to try to match stain. So I am coming in with Fusion paint, and this is in French Eggshell. It is a really soft blue-green, and I think it is going to pair nicely with the green or the blue milk paint I'm gonna do on the outside. So I am using the Amazing Casting resin, and because I am sometimes kind of stingy with my supplies, I thought I will just mix it up in one silicone cup. There is no sense in wasting product and trying to combine them. So that's what I did. It all came out fine. I'm not sure if maybe I didn't mix it long enough, because honestly I was worried. I know the more you mix resin, the larger quantity, the quicker it sets up, and I was afraid that it was going to set up before I had a chance to pour it. Everything came out fine, but when I did take the mold out, there was a little area that was still a little sticky. So I don't know if that's because my ingredients were off, the 2 parts were off a little bit, or maybe I just didn't stir it enough. You can see it did come out really pretty easily. I just flipped it over and then bent the mold back and just let it kind of fall out of the mold. And it was just this, in this end part right down here, like right there, it was just a little sticky. So let me know, was it because I just didn't mix it long enough, or what do you think it was? So I just went about fixing it to the box, and I put plenty of Titebond Quick and Thick on the back and pulled out my handy dandy little mini applicators to clean up all of the glue. Oh no, I am not doing that yet. I am painting it. So this is Conservatory by Fusion. And the paint has dried, so now we're going to glue it down with the Titebond Quick and Thick, and I'm using my little mini applicators to clean up the excess glue. They worked really well because you can see in this mold there's all sorts of little areas and areas in between in the mold that go all the way through. So I had a good bit to clean up, but I wanted to try something different with this project. So I painted the casting, as you can see, in the green, and I have never used milk paint over a casting. So that is what I want to do. When the milk paint chips, as I hope it will, and cracks, I did not want it to go down to the white of the resin. I wanted to have the pretty green color underneath. That was my thought process. So I am just gluing this down, and then once it is dry, we will come along with some milk paint. Alrighty, on to the milk paint. This is one of my favorite blues by Sweet Pickens, and it is Moody Blue, and I am using 2 scoops of powder, so that means I am using 2 scoops of water, since it is a 1-to-1 ratio. And you just need to stir it for 2 minutes, let it sit for about 10 minutes. I, of course, kind of like to hurry things along. I use this little milk frother. It makes quick work of it, and I find personally it's a little less lumpy. And then I still let it sit for about 2 minutes. And this is also new to me. This is the beeswax bar. I have never used this. And you can see how I started to paint, and then I realized that I wanted to put down the beeswax bar. And milk paint can be reactivated with water, so guess what I did? I just took a wet rag and I wiped back some of that layer. It was only one coat so far. I just wiped it back some so I could apply the beeswax. After my milk paint has been sitting for the 10 minutes or so, then I always like to give it a quick stir just to make sure everything is still incorporated. And if you are new to milk paint, the first coat is a little scary looking. It gets way better, I promise. So I am just coming in and giving one coat to all of the sides and getting in all of the details of that casting there. And old habits die hard. I pulled out my heat gun because I always use my heat gun with milk paint, not thinking that I had the wax underneath. So you'll see as I go along here, after the second coat, there are areas that look a little dark, and I think that's because of the wax that has melted, but everything came out fine. I just came along with I think this is probably like a 180 grit, a well-loved. I wanted it coarse enough where I would take off any paint that was potentially chipping. And then this is just a little nylon bristle brush, a really stiff bristle brush. I'm really digging in and getting in there in the mold to try to flake off all of the paint that I can so I can see that beautiful green color underneath. After I've used that little sanding pad to scrape away or sand off any chipping paint, then I like to come in with a finer grit sandpaper and really smooth everything out. One thing I love about milk paint is the texture that you get and how smooth it is when it's all sanded. Now, Fusion paint, if you're familiar with it, it has a base coat and a top coat, but I wanted to give this box a little extra protection, so I am coming in with a flat top coat by Dixie Belle on the bottom and then on the insides. And you can see there some of the paint that has chipped over that casting. And then Sweet Pickens Dark Oil Wax is what I am using to seal in the milk paint. So this is my dedicated oil wax brush, and I am just brushing it on the milk paint surfaces, and we are going to let it sit for about 10 minutes to soak in and then just wipe it back. Well, this wraps up this week's video. I hope you enjoyed my little haul and my quick upcycles. It's a little different type of video than I've done in the past. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the projects. Thank you so much for hanging out and for watching. Please leave me a comment. I do love hearing from you. If you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you enjoy my content, if you subscribe, and feel free to share my channel with anyone that you know might like my content. So that's it for this week. Until next time, take care.